Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Sandy Smith, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Corporal Anne Collishaw. We warmly welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Corporal Joseph James Riley. Joe Riley was born in Jeparit, Victoria in 1895, the third son of Joseph and Harriet Riley's 7 children. When he was about 3 years old, Joe's family moved to Horsham, where Joe was educated at the local state school. His father worked with steam engines around Horsham, including at the foundry and at the hospital, and was in charge of the council's steamroller. After completing school, Joe worked as a tailor for Mr. Schwensenson in Horsham. His family was well known in town, and he was described as a fine specimen of a clean living youth. Joe Riley and his brother Will enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force together in July 15. The brothers completed their training together and left for overseas service with reinforcements to the 23rd Battalion in September 1915 on board the troop ship Horiata. First sent to Egypt and in the new year, Will wrote home to say, "Just a few lines to let you know that we are quite well and hope at home you are as well." The brothers were almost certainly too late to see service on Gallipoli and remained with the 23rd Battalion throughout the period of training and reorganisation that the AIF underwent in Egypt in the early part of 1916. The 23rd Battalion was sent to France to fight on the Western Front in March 1916, first entering the line in a quieter section of the front, around Armentières. In July, the battalion was sent south to take part in the fighting on the Somme. Private Riley's first experience of a significant-sized operation came at Pozières in late July 1916. Not long after entering the front line, however, he was shot in the face and evacuated to a hospital in England. Already a burgeoning collector of battlefield relics, Riley made sure to keep the shrapnel removed from his eye socket to send home to his parents. By the time Private Joe Riley returned to his battalion in France, his brother Will, who had expressed an interest in machine guns since reaching Egypt, had been transferred to the 2nd Machine Gun Battalion. Joe was also able to secure a transfer to the 6th Machine Gun Company in January 1917. Little is known of Joe's service throughout 1917, but he clearly proved an able soldier, as by October he had been promoted to Lance Corporal and had further temporary promotions to Corporal the following year. In July 1918, Private Joe Riley fell ill and had to be evacuated to hospital in England, once again suffering from pneumonia. As his condition worsened, his heart began to fail. Nursing sister Mary MacDonald wrote that Joe Riley passed peacefully away at 5 p.m. on the 12th of July 1918. Everything that was possible was done to help save his life, but I very much regret without success. Riley was buried in a cemetery in Cliveden, Buckinghamshire, with full military honours, with a large number of officers, sisters and patients of the hospital being present. Will Riley cabled home and was the first to inform his parents of the death of his brother. A friend later wrote to Joe's parents to say, "It's only about 2 weeks since he left us, and today we learn to our great sorrow that he has passed away to the great unknown. His mates wish me to take this opportunity of expressing to you their deep appreciation of the gallant work done by Joe to help us all, and their deepest sympathy is with you in all your sad bereavement. I wish, Mrs. Riley, that we could express to you our admiration of your son. He was an example to all for his cheerfulness in time of trouble and his cleanliness in living. Being very popular, he was sought by many and always showed great strength of character. In him, we lose one of the most popular lads in the company. Please accept our heartfelt sympathy and try to bear the loss as bravely as he would have wished." 31 men co-signed the letter, and today Joe Riley's headstone continues to remember his close relationship with his friends and his epitaph, a token of esteem from his comrades in France. Joe's brother, Private Will Riley, returned safely to Australia, but more sorrow awaited him. His mother died of the Spanish flu just 2 days before he reached home. The name of Private Joe Riley is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. A photo of his headstone is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Corporal Joseph James Riley, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.